Hello and welcome back to Planet Watch for Sexy Scorpio with the gorgeous Mary Jane Staudenmann. You really look nice.
Oh,
Yeah, you've got a big fancy do tonight.
yeah, I'm going out to trot. So, yeah, I just dressed up for you guys and for the occasion anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. But for Scorpio, I mean, that's kind of what Scorpio is about. Very passionate, very
Yeah,
sexy.
well, that's it. We are into a very heavy duty energy. Speaking of heavy duty energy, I'm going to have to get rid of this cat. Hold on just a second.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, getting rid of the cat.
She's
Um,
so terrible. She's a Libra, but she thinks she's a Scorpio.
oh, that's so funny.
Ah, man, I tell you.
Well,
Anyway, Scorpio energy. Let's talk about this a minute because it
Scorpio,
is heavy duty. Scorpio
yeah.
is a fixed sign. It's an emotional sign in water. It's a passionate sign ruled by Mars and by Pluto. We're talking really heavy duty commitment to ideals, looking into the depths. Whatever you're into, Scorpio is going to push you into getting deeper, getting further, going deeper into your subject, whether an emotional relationship, whether it's a sexual passion, whether it's therapy, physical therapy, whether it's an excellent time to be doing plastic surgery, by the way. This is
Oh,
all about transformation, regeneration. In our northern hemisphere, the nature is degenerating. It's everything's crumpling down, decomposing,
but it's
getting
so beautiful while it does it.
yeah, but that's it. And it's so important that all of this creation, this matter returns to the earth. The whole idea is about recycling, and nature is recycling itself during this period. Or in the southern hemisphere as well. This is when nature crops are opening up. They're getting ready to
Yeah,
explode. On our end, it's more of an implosion, but this is all part of the necessary cycle.
right,
So we're
right.
deep into this, and which brings up the notion of the Venus Mars connection, this incredible sexual energy that's involved in this the Taurus Scorpio axis, and we're deep in it now. The whole thing is an extremely positive, perhaps the most important motor that we as human beings have, and that's involved in all of nature.
Right, right.
One of the common things or two common things that all living beings have. One is eating, Taurus, and the other is reproducing, uh, Scorpio. So this is when we are at our most animal, and at the same time in Scorpio, capable of the most noble repercussions of this energy.
Right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
It is
If
good stuff.
if I often think, I was thinking earlier, if Libras is kind of the how do you do, nice to meet you part, Scorpio is saying, let's get it on, let's get serious.
Yeah, voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
And this goes on in school. If you've started up your studies again in October now, why it's in November that you're getting into the heart of the subject. This is when it gets serious, folks.
Right,
So, and this is
right.
true on all kinds of communication, all kinds of engagements, all kinds of connections. So, yeah, it's down and dirty, but it's a lot of fun. It's interesting.
Right, right. A lot of, I mean, certainly very, very passionate. In my home life, I'm living with my Scorpio daughter, 15 years
Yeah,
old, teen. So we've got teenage, we got Scorpio, we've got really intense, right?
yes,
And
indeed.
mhm. So we've got other Scorpios in the family too, also very, very intense. But
Right.
what's going on in the sky right now?
Well, it's heating up. Actually, there are some big titles we have to talk about. One very general tendency, though, and it's going to be extremely helpful,
Mhm.
is that the fast planets, the sun and the planets that are close around us, including the Earth, including Mars, Jupiter too, the fast planets are lining up finally in connection with the slow, the outer planets, to create some much more positive, much more constructive, much more easy movements going on in the sky, and we're going to see this periodically through the month. There's some really dynamite days and weeks to be getting ahead, moving, getting your ideas out front. All of these things are going to be shaping up very, very nicely with
Nice.
the fast planets coming into Scorpio. Plus the fact that it's an extremely fertile sign. So things are moving and also growing, which is very interesting for us.
Good.
Room to change. The other big titles, though, are a little less happy. We've still got uh, the Saturn square square Uranus going on.
Sure.
That's been creating this war atmosphere that's happening, and this is going on still all month. Obviously, we're not ready to get involved in any big changes. Saturn will be going direct, however, on the 24th of October already,
Good.
with the new moon sitting right on top of the new moon, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which way this is going. I'm not sure if Saturn is going to create uh, of some sort of authoritarian setting that's going to create a hiatus, a pause in the
Pause. Mhm.
wars that are different wars that are going on.
Wow,
I
good.
kind of hope so. Saturn retrograde hasn't worked particularly well for us all this time. So perhaps with a direct energy, all of a sudden, I would like to think that the UN is going to kind of turn on and and tell the Russians that they don't dare do what they're doing.
Right.
That would be a step in the right direction,
Hmm.
among other things. The other one of the other set pieces that we've got going on is the square between Pluto and Eris. The war, what's becoming a war, the manifestations, the demonstrations going on in Iran. These are all about women's issues with Eris. And this is coming to be very important and is going to continue to be very important through the next coming months until the end of the year, in any case.
Sure.
The other movement that's going on all October that seems to be pretty important, though, at the same time that all of this constructive energy is going on, Mars is creating a square to Neptune. Now, this means, yes, go out and go out and construct, but be careful what your plans are.
Oh,
Keep an
okay.
eye on the drawing board and check the details, because Mars, that's in an awkward position with Neptune, gets kind of fuzzy around the head and doesn't always put his energy in the right places.
Sure.
So this just requires, first of all, having a reality check on our dream constructions and taking care of details. That is to say, delays in receiving material goods, delays in
Right.
delivery, delays in work being done, all kinds of setbacks that we can have.
Hmm.
This is also creating yet further lousy monsoon conditions in places that are subject to this. We're going to see
Oh,
more storms through October and November, more really quite nasty tropical storms and so on.
oh, wow.
Yeah, and this direct Mars is going to be going direct very soon, and is keeping this square on and through the end of November. So we'll have time to talk about it.
Right.
Anyway, those are some of the really major things that aren't going away anytime soon, that we're going to have to deal with. through the other very nice periods that I wanted to point out. The first really good news is with the new moon on the 24th of October. That sort of is setting the scene for a really nice weekend, the 30th of October, which is Saturday.
Good.
Saturday, and the 31st looks pretty good too. Very nice moon lining up with some other planets. This weekend is going to be particularly nice for well, if you have your wedding date already set, it's excellent. Have a
Sure.
great time. It's a beautiful time for all kinds of contracts, all kinds of contacts. If
Good.
you're lining up dates on the internet, this is a wonderful time to be meeting some very interesting people and have really what seem like splendid connections. So all these types of contacts are going to be very positive at the end of the year, at the end of the month. One difficult date, and I must underline it because it's the 31st, the evening of the 31st of October, 1st of November, Halloween. Be careful out there. You know, the kids want to kind of go crazy and wild parties go on, and it's with the moon that's coming, moon and Saturn that are going to be squared to Uranus.
Hmm.
There's room for fire accidents with fireworks, accidents with candles, accidents in general. It's a bad time to be out running around doing silly things.
Well, the good news is that it's on a Monday night, so hopefully there will not be a tremendous amount of craziness.
Yeah, I kind of hope that too. I don't know to what extent in the States this day off comes to be important, but if people can kind of keep a lid on their celebrations on that Monday night, why I would be particularly happy. It's otherwise a very nice weekend, in fact. So use it
Wonderful.
to the
That sounds
best
awesome.
time we've got.
Now,
The other real
mhm.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's
Well,
your question?
like we can get to this in a minute, but I just want to throw out, we've got this January 6th commission. They've just issued a subpoena, big subpoena to
Uh-huh.
Trump. And I'm just looking at what's the forecast around that?
I would say if they can get a move on, I don't know what kind of time frame they're working in here. The weekend of 30th of October is going to be excellent for this type of negotiation. I would say my guess would be that he would be called in on the Monday, 1st of November, to honor the thing.
Oh, that would be the 1st of November is a Tuesday, actually.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's even better. And that there should be some very positive action around the subpoena. It's not
Good.
just shooting fish in a barrel.
Right.
They're really going to be able to get something done at this rate. And I'm thinking this very good alignment should be useful for exactly that.
Wonderful. Good to know. Good to know. I'm just
Yeah.
ready to put an end to all of this or put a cap on it, just
Oh. Oof. I would say so too. Now, astrologically, we're supposed to stay neutral, but I'm thinking too that with the Saturn that's going direct right now, the 24th of October, with this
Mhm.
new moon, it's time for uh, justice
Good.
to get busy,
Hmm.
to get finally active and in a positive direction. So
Hmm.
I'm thinking this is going to be something rather major in any case.
Good. Right. And of course, we've got the midterms. What is that? November 8th,
Ah, right.
right?
Get out the vote. That's the important thing here. The 8th of November is a kind of a nasty Venus and I'll talk about this more succinctly, but Venus and Mercury are in a very tight conjunction and are going to be creating difficulties, sort of offsetting, but at least putting a damper on some of all this good news. And one particularly nasty date with Venus and Mercury involved is the 8th of November, when at the same time this is happening, the moon is going to be sitting right on Uranus. So what's happening? The connection isn't being carried through. There are all going to be all kinds of voters turned away from their voting posts again. There are going to be all
That's
kinds of,
creative.
yeah, it's going to be very important to get out the vote, to make sure that that people living in their communities have the chance, the place, the time to vote.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say the best, because it is rather a nasty date for anything involved with communication, negotiation, uh, especially more important, I would say, in monetary dealings. It's not a wonderful time to be buying and selling and signing contracts with that in mind. But um, the vote is an act of confidence as well. And I'm thinking
Right.
with the problems in communication, I think there are going to be a lot of screw ups.
That's what I was worried about. Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
well, that and political violence at the polls as well, and people just behaving badly and
yes,
trying to prevent things
yes,
from prevent people from voting, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay,
right.
buckle up.
Well, exactly. The I will come to the. I just want to point out a couple of nice, getting back to our outer planets,
Sure.
finally being pulled into cooperation. The week of the 13th to the 17th of November looks particularly easy
Oh, good.
for some planetary cooperation, and also from the 15th to the 22nd for different reasons. We have a nice period to be doing some negotiating, doing some meeting people, doing some social interaction. Looks very, very good with that in mind.
Good.
Now, let me open this parenthesis, which is rather a huge one, actually, about the Venus and Mercury conjunction that's going on virtually all month, uh, from now on, from the end from the 24th of October on, and clear through November, actually. Um, they're creating a very bad attitude with certain planets that are going to be important. This conjunction is already very verbal, and so there are some very bad times to be signing and negotiating and signing contracts, for instance. And there will be some very good times to check what you're saying, make sure your arguments stay civil, first of all, and well thought out, secondly. I'm talking about the 31st of October. I'm talking about the 3rd to the 5th of November. I'm talking about the 8th and the 9th of November that we saw the problem with the moon and Uranus.
Yeah.
And the other period between the 4th and the 11th of November, when there's a nasty square to Saturn.
Yeah.
So these are just a few kind of holes in what is otherwise a fairly nice period as far as getting along, making social progress, getting things done with that in mind, and also with our monetary and more commercial dealings.
Hmm.
Things get a lot easier, and Venus and Mercury are really getting to be quite polite after the 11th of November. I think then we can talk about a little calm in the second part of this period of Scorpio. There's some interesting changes too going on there. Venus is coming into Sagittarius the 16th of November. Mercury is joining Sagittarius on the 17th of November. The conjunction is still totally active, even as they change signs together, clear through till the 6th of December. So we've got a lot of time to chat. We've got a lot of time to talk things out. And things seem to be getting easier as we go along after I'm going to say the 11th of November.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, we what do? We just power on. We just keep
We just
going, but
power on. Use this period of intense uh, continuation, intense and in-depth uh, action in our social actions, in our physical actions, our therapies, healing can definitely go on, and all sorts of
right.
transformation, physiotherapy we're doing on ourselves, all sorts of in-depth therapies are particularly active under the sky, and I think can be turned into some very, very interesting, very positive products as the month goes on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good to know. It's so helpful to know these dates in advance when things are going to be easier, when things are going to be more difficult or more challenging. It's always a good idea to have kind of the forecast, the energy forecast.
Well, that's the idea of it, all of these astrological studies is being able to use the periods when we can get ahead, lay back a bit when the periods are less happy for us, and this according to each of our charts, each of our makeups. So it's useful to be able to adapt these things we've talked about to your own personal astrological chart and see how you're going to be using these various energies out there.
Absolutely. That's why it's really important to get a natal chart drawn up and to find out where your tendencies are, and then just to look at it and see how the skies are changing around you, right?
For
That's
sure.
very,
And
very helpful.
yeah, yeah, I've always found it to be true. And I like to think I've helped a lot of people in my clientele align their energies. It's basically about inserting ourselves into cycles that are existing all around us and getting more and more deeply involved in our universe, on the little level and on the big level.
Well, I have to say, you've helped me tremendously through the years to understand some of these cycles and hop in on good, you know, on the wheel, the Fortuna's wheel, right? We want to hop
Right.
in at the right time and to hold back at the right time. You certainly have helped me a lot to understand that
Good,
over the years. Hmm.
good, good.
Yeah.
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah. So I
That's
would
what
just
we're after.
That's what we're after. So I would just, like to invite everybody watching to go to radiatewellnesscommunity.com and to schedule a natal chart and to see
I'll be
where your energies are and what's going on. I think it's always a great idea. Well, thank you so much, Mary Jane. Is there anything else that we need to know for Scorpio?
I don't think so. I would say offhand, just have a really good time.
Well, that at any rate.
Always.
Okay, so we'll be back then in after Scorpio is
In
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, right.
Fantastic.